a simple $1 bill in your pocket, is a weapon that built empires, changed the outcome of wars, and forced the global economy to operate by its rules without firing a single bullet. The question is, how did this small piece of paper become the most powerful currency in the world? Why does almost every country keep US dollars in its foreign exchange reserves? At a time when the dollar didn't even exist, what did Americans use to buy and sell? Why does the $1 bill still carry mysterious symbols that have inspired hundreds of conspiracy theories? And the biggest question of all, will the dollar's dominance last forever, or will it one day witness the greatest financial collapse in history? In today's documentary, we'll uncover the answers to all of these questions step by step. There are certain things in history that we use every day, yet very few people know their real story. The US dollar is one of them. Today, the dollar is more than just America's currency. International trade, oil prices, gold, foreign exchange reserves, almost every part of the global economy is connected to it in one way or another. But the dollar traveled a long and difficult road to reach this position. Its journey includes wars, revolutions, political decisions, economic crises, the story of gold, and a series of decisions that changed the future of the entire world. Today, we begin that incredible journey right from the very beginning. Hundreds of years ago, the dollar did not exist. In fact, most countries did not even have their own national currencies. People relied on barter. A farmer traded wheat for clothing. A blacksmith exchanged his tools for food. But a major problem soon appeared. What if the farmer didn't need wheat? Why would he trade his goods for it? Economists call this the double coincidence of wants, a situation where both parties must want exactly what the other has. Because of this problem, people began searching for something that everyone would accept as payment. First came seashells, then zalt. In some regions, livestock became a symbol of wealth, but each of these had serious limitations. Eventually, gold and silver became the most trusted medium of exchange. But this is not where the story ends. Because a new nation was about to emerge, one that would eventually rewrite the rules of gold and silver forever. The year was 1776. The 13 colonies in North America declared their independence from British rule. But winning independence was easier than governing a new nation. The biggest challenge was money. At the time, different regions used different currencies. Some used the British pound, others used the Spanish silver dollar, and some relied on locally printed paper notes. As a result, trade, commerce, and tax collection became chaotic. To finance the Revolutionary War, the Continental Congress printed a massive amount of paper money. These notes were called continental currency. But one major mistake was made. The government did not have enough gold or silver to back the enormous number of notes it was printing. The result? The value of the currency quickly collapsed. It fell so dramatically that people began saying, not worth a continental. In other words, it wasn't worth anything. This event taught the young nation an important lesson: no currency can survive without trust. A few years later, America's leaders realized that building a strong economy required a single national currency. In 1792, the Coinage Act was passed. This law officially established the foundation of the US dollar as the national currency of the United States. But one question still remains: where did the name dollar come from? Many people believe it is an American name. In reality, it isn't. Its roots lie in Europe. During the 16th century, silver coins were minted in a mining town located in what is now the Czech Republic. Those coins were called thaler. Over time, the word thaler evolved across different languages until it eventually became dollar. Later, because the Spanish silver dollar was already widely used throughout America, the newly formed United States adopted the familiar name. In other words, the name of the world's most powerful currency was born thousands of kilometers away in a silver mining town in Europe. But this wasn't the greatest mystery. The dollar had still not become the world's most powerful currency. Ahead lay banking crises, political battles, the gold standard, and a series of decisions that would eventually make the entire world dependent on the US dollar. But that isn't the whole story. During the 1800s, the United States began to industrialize rapidly. New factories, railroads, banks, and businesses were expanding at an incredible pace. But there was one major problem. The country had many banks, and many of them printed their own banknotes. As a result, a note accepted in one city might not be accepted in another. People often couldn't tell which notes were genuine and which were risky. The government began searching for a strong foundation. That foundation was gold. For centuries, gold had been trusted as the most reliable store of value. Gradually, a system emerged in which a fixed amount of gold backed a fixed amount of dollars. As a result, public confidence continued to grow. One thing became clear: the value of paper does not come from the paper itself. It comes from people's trust. In 1861, the American Civil War began. War meant enormous expenses. The government faced a difficult question: where would all the money come from? During this period, the United States introduced national paper currency on a large scale for the first time. These notes became known as greenbacks. They were not immediately redeemable for gold, but the government declared them to be legal tender. At first, many people were skeptical, but after the war, the American economy began to recover. The banking system also underwent major reforms. The national banking system became stronger. Strict measures were introduced against counterfeit currency. Gradually, a more unified monetary system was established across the country. This became the foundation of the modern US dollar. But even greater changes were waiting ahead. One world war, then another, and after those wars, the dollar would become not only America's currency, but the center of the global financial system. Yet that is not the most remarkable chapter. In the next part, you'll discover how an international agreement after World War II transformed the US dollar into the world's most powerful currency. And you'll learn why the dollar still dominates global oil markets, gold trading, and international commerce today. The year was 1944. World War II had not yet ended. But world leaders already understood that once the war was over, the shattered global economy would have to be rebuilt. With that goal in mind, representatives from 44 countries gathered in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, in the United States. There, they made a decision that would shape the global economy for decades. The decision was simple: the US dollar would become the center of the international financial system, and the dollar itself would be pegged to gold at a fixed rate. Meanwhile, the currencies of many other countries would be linked to the US dollar. As a result, the use of the dollar in international trade grew rapidly. Over the following years, countries around the world began exchanging their US dollars for gold. But a problem soon emerged. The amount of dollars in circulation had grown far beyond the amount of gold held by the United States. In 1971, President Richard Nixon made a historic announcement. The United States would no longer exchange dollars for gold. Economists later called this event the Nixon Shock. This marked the beginning of the modern era of fiat currency, a system in which the value of money depends not on gold, but on confidence in the government, the strength of the economy, and public trust. Many people believed this would mark the end of the dollar's dominance. But the opposite happened. Today, a large share of international trade is conducted in US dollars. Many central banks hold a significant portion of their foreign exchange reserves in dollars. The dollar also plays a vital role in international lending, global commodity markets, and countless cross-border transactions. There are several reasons for this. The size of the US economy, the enormous market for US government bonds, decades of international confidence, and the dollar's deeply established position within the global financial system. However, in recent years, some countries have been trying to expand trade using alternative currencies. The question is, will this change the future of the US dollar? The answer remains uncertain. The most surprising truth is this: the strength of the dollar has never come from paper, ink, or printing presses alone. Its real power comes from trust. As long as the world believes the dollar is a safe and reliable medium of exchange, it will remain strong. History has repeatedly shown that the value of a currency depends not only on metal or paper, but on public confidence in the strength of the economic system. Today, we've learned how the currency of a young nation gradually became the world's most influential currency. But history never stands still. Just as the world's dominant currencies have changed before, they may change again in the future. So here's one final question. Do you think the US dollar will still be the world's most powerful currency 50 years from now? Or will another currency take its place? Share your opinion in the comments. And if you enjoy learning about history, economics, and the hidden stories behind our everyday lives, subscribe to the channel. Because in the next documentary, we'll uncover another fascinating truth that you may have never heard before.